Another useful debug feature is the locals window. The locals window is used to determine what any given variable or any constant is equal to at any given time. So as you're stepping through code, the locals window will tell you what a variable is equal to at any point in time in the code. And this can make working with variables a lot easier if you know what they're equal to at any point in time. What I've done is I've opened up Chapter 9. In Chapter 9 we had two modules. We had a module called Mod Scope Survival and we had a module called Mod Scope Survival 2. I'm going back to Mod Scope Survival. What I'd like to do is bring up the locals window, and on my debug toolbar just before the immediate window button is the locals window button. Now when you click this you bring up the locals window and you can close it just by hitting this X. So I'll bring up the locals window, and what I want to do is click in this sub-procedure called Calc Profit. Now as I step through this sub-procedure, it's going to give me in the locals window the constants and the variables in this sub-procedure and what they're equal to at any given point in time. So I'll press F8. As soon as I press F8, it tells me that it's looking at the Mod Scope Survival module, and if I hit the plus, these are the variables all beginning with my, and these are the constants. So I can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables in this sub-procedure which are all set to currency, and they're all at the moment equal to 0. And then my 3 constants are currently set to 0.3, 0.33 and 0.4, and they're all doubles, which are numbers. Now as I click on my Calc Profit procedure and press F8 and watch the locals window, so I'll enter a sales figure, maybe 60,000. And now it tells me straight away my sales at this point in time is 60,000. As I press F8 and I enter my expenses, say 15,000, it tells me at this point in time my expenses is equal to 15,000. So they've both gone from 0 to acquiring alternative values. When I press F8, the gross profit is calculated as the sales minus the expenses, and it tells me at this point in time it's worth 45,000. And as I press F8 again and walk through my code, eventually I'll acquire a net profit figure of 31290. And if I press F8, I finish my sub-procedure, but because these are public declarations, if I go back into Calc Profit and press F8 to step through the code again and hit the plus, I'll see that those variables have retained their values from the last time the sub-procedure was run, and they're not equal to 0. So this is very handy if you want to manage your variables and manage your constants and know at any given point in time exactly what they're equal to. I'll enter a sales figure of 50,000. I'll enter expenses of 25,000, and I can see here my 25,000 and my 50,000, and as it steps through I can see my gross profit has just changed, and eventually my net profit changes as well. And just F8 to stop. And to close the locals window I'll just hit the X.